Hellborn is finally out. After almost 4 years, this massive project has finally been completed and available for purchase on Drive-Thru RPG. In order to celebrate, we held a Q&A a few days ago, where friends and followers could ask any question about us and Hellborn and answer those questions on a video that would be released alongside Hellborn's release. The day is finally here and it's time to reply to those questions. Without further ado, here they are.
Any plans or hopes for a sequel, revisions, updates, or future versions/development?
Absolutely. Hellborn was our first project, and a big one at that. Thus, it's obvious that it will have some flaws that we'd notice. On top of that, my design philosophy when it comes to making games has changed wildly ever since I made Hellborn's system. It's easy to say that we want to create a second edition of Hellborn in order to improve the system and make the game stand out more. As for updates, we do plan on creating various errata and free content for players in GM to enjoy in the upcoming months, once people have gotten their hands on the book and have amassed a decent amount of feedback. We're also slowly yet surely working on an expansion for the game, which will add tons of new content, progress and expand upon the existing lore, and implement all previous free content released all in one dark tome.
What was the process like? I and probably plenty of others have heard that I'm gonna make an RPG system a lot of times, but rarely with results. So I'm just curious what the process of actually translating that idea into a game system was like.
Funnily enough, the game didn't start as an RPG, or at least a tabletop one. It began as a concept for a sprawling MMORPG, with blackjack and hookers and everything in between. After the idea died down, I proposed that we turn the game to a TTRPG, and Ed agreed. Creating the system itself took quite a lot of time. I attempted to make the game using various systems, from dice pools to D100s. It took me almost 2 years before I eventually settled on the system I have today. Translating the idea of Cyberpunk Hell into a playable game was also a bit of a challenge. I borrowed ideas from a variety of games, such as Cyberpunk Red, Shadowrun, and the Line for the Darkness games, and tweaked them somewhat to fit the vibe of a tech-ridden hellscape. I'm pretty sure that I would have done a much better job if I had more experience with RPGs when I began making Hellborn, but I'm satisfied with the result nonetheless.
Would an AI that develops sentience be able to get sent to hell?
That's something weird to ask, but I'm willing to give it a try. So, the mortal realm and the spirit realm can only be translated by those who have an actual soul, implying a physical birth and death. Since an artificial intelligence is a material construct and not a spiritual one, it will be bound to the mortal realm itself if it's destroyed. In a similar manner, that it has been created in the spiritual realm, see the Sloth Ring, will not cross into the mortal realm without some third-party intervention. However, you could probably bring an AI in and out of the afterlife if you have it stored in a database and you carry it with you for whatever you use to pierce for the threshold.
Was anything flipped dramatically from the original plan, or did you have that starting idea and just modify it with more clear directions or details? Also, did the Studio Hex team aim to make a fun environment or an accurate interpretation of Hell first?
As I mentioned earlier, Hellborn was originally intended to be an MMORPG. The switch from digital to tabletop was a pretty big one, but not big enough to shake the entire studio to its core. However, the setting has had a pretty dramatic change. In the past, it was much less serious and original, and it was more of a shitty parody of Hell of a Boss, but with cyberwar and the like. At some point, I pretty much said, fuck it, we're doing it right, and rewrote everything from the ground up. Parts of that old lore still exist, and many more might come back in the future, rewritten and expanded upon.
Regarding the second question, I want to say it has been a mix of both since we started the project. On one hand, we've been doing research on documented events, characters, and other details using trustworthy sources, so we can provide an experience that's as accurate as possible to the mythology told through the holy texts. On the other hand, we wanted to put our own spin into the narrative to bring the tales of the old closer into our modern perspectives. You can see that through the presence of mega-series, modern terminologies, and events and technologies. Think of Hell not as the place of eternal fire and brimstone, but as a reflection of our own world taken to the extreme. Both are drastically different, yet both have their own punishments.
Do I have permission to write gay fanfics about it?
Short answer, yes. Long answer, you're absolutely allowed to make fan content as long as you mention that Hellborn, or any other game or setting you make, was made by Studio Hex. We want to thank everyone who submitted a question for us to answer on this Q&A, since we love interacting with our small but passionate community, as well as talking about all our projects. Hellborn is our first big step into this industry, and I hope that this gigantic project will make us known in the greater TTRPG community. More to come very, very soon.